Broken Blade to be overextended in this top lane 1v1, which then potentially sets up for Elyoya to then look for a gank. You can see Broken Blade has to come and push this wave out. There's very little he can do about it because Chasey can immediately TP back in and catch the wave. So good stuff there from Chasey.
It won't be a full freeze. It does get underneath the tower. Broken Blade, though, did have to expend some mana to make sure that wave went in. Hans Summer, though, down towards the bottom lane. Might get some attention from Yike soon. You can see Elyoya on the Krugs. Oh, note that Hans Summer didn't burn either of his summoners in that dive earlier on, so still has the flash and the cleanse. Mickey's flash coming off cooldown, so is Hylissang's, and we know what that means for the Braum. Broken Blade looking perhaps for a mid lane gank here. Yike is in the vicinity as well. Things from Chasey, he knows that his lane opponent isn't where he should be right now.
He feels something is wrong. He can sense a potential play. He's playing very safe right now as Elyoya now coming to cover. He should spot out Yike.
Charge in onto Niski. Petrifying Gaze possibility, but it doesn't get a stun onto anyone. Caps underneath the tower, claims the kill. And now Elyoya on the wrong side of that fight. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Mickey going in once again. Kazi trying to trade, but Hans Summer's full HP still. The Ignite won't be enough to take down Hylissang. He escapes with his life, but the wave's still not in a good shape. Yike could look for something. Hylissang has backed all the way off towards his tier 2 to make sure that he can't be killed. Kazi could block the body slam. It still connects. Mickey under the tower. Hylissang still surviving. Elyoya's on his way. Kazi able to kill off one, and they're looking for more. Mickey now not in the best of shapes as Elyoya gets on the board. And Hans Summer still just farming the waves. Couldn't quite join his team in time.
Overextension from Yike. He'd used the barrel to try and block off an escape route through the jungle. So when he went in with the body slam, didn't have his key damage ability there to take down Hilly. And great collapse from Mad Lions to get the kills back in their favor.
Over-aggression from G2 is punished in the bot lane. The mid lane dive was very well executed from G2. I expect we're actually going to start on the bot side of the map because they're able to get that initial kill onto Niski. Hylissang contesting the bot lane of G2 over this ward. The knockup then comes through from Mickey, and G2 saying, hey, we can get this kill, but don't quite have enough damage after Hilly flashes away. But at this point, Yike is saying, you know what, I have more than enough damage to secure this kill. Unfortunately, this is where the damage ends up falling short.
Yeah, as you can see, just using that barrel on the top side meant that they didn't quite have enough to finish off Hilly. And then you're way overextended with those concussive blows, being able to finish off a few, but Elyoya come down to join in on the party.
Hans Summer able to get away with his life, fortunately, for the G2 bot lane, but still in a very strong position on this scenario.
Yeah, Hans Summer 2-0-0 right now. Already has that Noon Quiver. Once again has made his way into an LEC title. Did it on Misfits, did it on Rogue. Last time was reverse swept by Kazi. It's been a long time for Hans Summer without claiming a title either in the LEC or in the LCS, and here with G2, probably his best shot at one, at least in a couple of years.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that Hans only been in 2 finals, Misfits 2017, and then with Rogue 2021. Yes, where, as you rightly said, he was reverse swept. And remember, they were 2-0 up in that series, and it felt like that it was a foregone conclusion. But Mad were able to team fight their way back in what was an incredible best of 5. One of the best finals I think Europe has seen. Definitely one of the more exciting ones. G2, though, in a very commanding position right now. And Hans Summer looking to claim revenge against his former rival Kazi as Mad begin the drag.
Yike's still on the way down, though. Caps pretty overextended here.
Miasma coming down. Glacial Prism as well for the follow-up. Now he's going to jump off Skull and try and get away from this one. Concussive blows. He flashes the wall just as the auto connected. Mickey looking for Kazi. Can't quite get in range. The control ward, though. Kazi, great flash away from Yike. But first off is one. And here comes Dante's Inferno. Mad in 7 layers of hell. As Hans Summer just shrinks them. Underneath the tower they dive. Hylissang will not survive. A double for Caps and clean up for G2.
G2 keeps the Revolution alive again. They are diving mid. They are getting the kills, and G2 are not slowing down in this finals.
What an unbelievable turnaround from G2. Mad Lions, the pick looked good. They focused down Caps as quickly as they could, but the frustration when playing against this Kled, his remount mechanic, his ability to disengage and re-engage the fight was too much, and Mad Lions couldn't secure the kill. The gold is now ballooning out of control, and already in game 2, G2 are firmly in the lead.
Great to see Yike bounce him back, but Broken Blade has to flash away and bounce away himself. But the fact that Yike playing bot side didn't go too well for him and then immediately turns around with the flash body slam to make the play happen again. Everyone on G2 resetting here means that Mad's going to look for a play towards Broken Blade on the top side, but he'll just walk this one out.
You can feel the threat of the dive coming. Broken Blades I will be honest, I was a little surprised to see him voluntarily take the Jax matchup into the Fiora. And you can see Chasey building massive advantages in the isolated 1v1 with a 30 CS lead. But the cross map is happening for G2. They're pushing down that bot lane tower. They're securing plates for their bot lane. And Broken Blade, he's just going to have to rely on the support of his jungler as Matt threatened to dive.
Broken Blade, no flash. Does have the counter-strike, will use it. Elyoya locked up underneath the tower, tanking it as well, and Elyoya will fall in the dive. Botched now as G2 strike back. Chasey trying to trade in, but really can't put too much more damage down. Concussive blows, Glacial Fissure used as well. They dive onto Broken Blade, but they can't get in range. Chasey unwilling to invest the flash there. Meanwhile, Hans Sama continues to push in that bot lane tower. Mickey also looking for something in the mid lane, can't find it yet. Hillisang continues to poke and to prod as he always does, but the armor of G2 is impenetrable right now.
Feels like Mad is starting to fall apart. Elyoya, the minion wave just disappeared underneath that tower, so he was forced to make that dive happen. And Broken Blade had to do very little to help secure that kill. Now Caps has found his way in top lane.
It's just such a big win for G2 already, and they're going to get more off Chasey here.
Chasey still has the flash, uses the riposte as well. Ignite going down. Caps has charge in 2 seconds. He's going to use it immediately. Underneath the tower, Caps locks down Chasey. Chasey trying to heal up to it. Off comes Skull. Invulnerability for Caps as he does that, loses the tower aggro, and he survives the fight.
So G2 turn around the dive on top. They get the Samira to push in and bot to get a ton of plates for herself. She's 2.6k gold ahead of Carsey. And then Caps gets to play on top. I mean, G2, they just won't let up.
It's just, a lot of it is a cascade of the initial play that happened from Carsey and Hilly, investing all of their summoners in the level 1 to try and gain a small advantage in the 2 versus 2, but then the dive from Yike into the follow-up plays, into that, honestly, that massive play in mid where G2 were able to turn the fight around and walk away with 4 kills. G2 are firmly in control of this game now. They have a 4k gold lead, and they are looking convincing once more. And
Elyoya's got to be gritting his teeth at Yike as well. Elyoya, when he came into this split, rookie of the split, wins the season in his first split, joining Mad Lions, and now Yike looking prim and proper on the opposite side with G2 turning around these plays on the top side, and it's been a bit of a meteoric rise for Yike, but now Caps up on the top side with Chasey here as not going to quite commit onto the Fiora.
And that's the small shining light for Mad Lions right now, is Chasey in that top lane. When they played around him through the course of playoffs, they have been able to pick up wins. That Jace against Koi springs to mind immediately, but here he is pretty deep in the hole against someone like Hans Sama, even Caps or Yike. Let's see, behind in gold. Fiora, though, can do a lot of work in the side lane later on, can do a lot of work in a team fight if utilized correctly here by Mad. The question is, can they stem the bleeding elsewhere to get Chasey into a position to carry?
Elyoya recognizes the best place for him to make a play now is in the top lane, so they're going to look for it.
Ooh. That riposte hits, that's a stun. Permafrost being used as well as Broken Blade dives in, the grand challenge put down. And Chasey wins out with the help of his jungler. Mad Lions investing their resources wisely.
Caps moving up to try and cover the wave though, so they can't get too much. Nobody in the mid lane though, because it looks like Yike still moving down towards this bot side to try and support Hans Sama and Mickey.
Does Caps go in here? Has the charge, can look for it, but Elyoya stayed around. Caps will dismount, charges away, in fact doesn't even need to get off Skull. Manages to escape, the tower falls down towards the bottom side. That's 5 plates there for G2, 4 in the mid lane, 1 in the top. Mad Lions picked up 4, 1, and 0. So they are in the hole there, and that's leading to this gold lead, obviously. And Caps just doesn't want him to base, just being a bit of a nuisance.
Caps using his ultimate to actually mitigate the route from Elyoya's E to get him away to safety there. Nice little mechanical demonstration. Caps always surprises me with the number of champions that he can play. Could very well be in a bit of danger here.
Riposte dodged to the side there by Caps. Yike is here. Hansama on his way up as well. Caps splashes away once again, escaping on a sliver. Yike next up though, the Permafrost will get the stun, but Hansama's joined the party. The Inferno trigger will be primed and ready. Just needs one more stack. S-rank. Die, die, die. Yike takes the kill on Elyoya, and G2 continue to find these picks.
And again, we're seeing G2 find these picks right as the big objective spawn on the top side of the map. Got it in game 1. Now we get it again in game 2 with the second Rift Herald here. And the big problem is Chasey is all the gold that Mad Lions have. And now he's not going to have opportunities to try and play with the map because it's getting smaller and smaller with G2 taking more and more of these towers.
It's got to feel so frustrating for Mad. Again, they found a situation where it felt like they had the numbers advantage, but Hans Sama comes out of nowhere, creates the 3 versus 2, and immediately it's the top side of Mad that find themselves running away from the fight. The gold is ballooning out of control. Another outer tower will fall. The mid is soon to follow, and Mickey looking for a flank.
And someone will have that ultimate once again. Mickey does go in. Cataclysm used. Mickey locked up for a long time. We killed off the flank from Broken Blade. Not in the best of shapes as 4 members of Mad can collapse onto him. He dives forward though with a counter-strike. Miasma going down as well. The barrel being used. Hansama opens up with the Infernal Trigger. That's 2. Chasey and Niski now need to escape. Hansama diving in once again. Niski trying to trade back. Conqueror fully stacked. Caps going in with a bear trap on the rope as Yike looks to join the party. Will just be forced away. Niski still steps forward. Good Petra engaged, but the cleanse from Hansama. Perfectly timed from him, and they baited out Smart and Mad. Niski thought he could find something, but G2 slammed the door in their face.
Hansama just makes it look easy. The Samira mechanics on full display. Even sidestepping the Casio Qs. This man is on a mission as the rest of G2 win every single skirmish. And what is there more to break down? That's all this game is, just skirmish after skirmish that G2 just keep walking away the victors.
I mean, Mickey overextends here, but he sets up a good time for G2, even if he's not there for a long time. Great setup here from Hansama as well, knowing that he's able to go in over the wall with the Infernal Trigger, immediately follows over once more, and the cooldown is so short as well on this ultimate, so immediately able to get that one back up as soon as he gets that S rank stack.
And you think at this point that they're not going to keep diving, but Caps knows that he has the remount, he has the exhaust as well, and the second that Niski looks for a re-engage in what was a fantastic ultimate, it's just not enough. Caps knows he can set up the dive, he tanks the tower, the aggro then shifts over to Yike, which makes it easy for Hansama to secure the kills, and a bit of a Misfits flair as he shows back from the 2017 roster where he made his first finals.
And it's so hard to play against G2 when they get a lead like this. 4 out of the 5 largest gold leads that we've seen in Winter Split so far belong to G2 because they're just so good at snowballing those big leads, and now you're starting to see it once more. They're looking for the mid lane tower. You've got the Ocean Dragon available in just a few moments for them as well, and they just continue to stack and play for these big advantages around Hansama.
And once again, we're in a position where for Mad Lions, you need to find a good team fight. You need to find a way to navigate these battles, and they do have the tools to do so. You know, Chasey is strong. If he can keep Broken Blade in the side lane, that's one less player to deal with. Perhaps he can even win that 1v1. Niski on the Casio can do a huge amount of work later on. It's Kazi playing on-hit Varus as well, so it's not the poke variant that we often see. Hylissang trading with Caps here. Mickey could look for something, won't find it. Man, have the tools. The problem is using tools when your hands are tied behind your back and you're blindfolded. They're 8,000 gold in the hole right now, and it's such a tricky situation to be in once again.
I mean, yeah, I always consider that in a game of League, you'll always have windows. There's always an opportunity as long as you're good enough, and there's this window where an opportunity, or your opponent rather, makes a mistake, then you can find ways back into the game. However, when you have a 5k gold advantage over the counter AD carry, there is a bit of luxury room for error that G2 have built for themselves, which means that Mad don't have to just find one play or even 2. They're going to have to keep finding these plays to bounce back in game 2 against G2. And
it does feel like a huge amount of that relies on Niski here in the Cassiopeia. Nerdy got that Rod of Ages completed, should pump him up another level there just momentarily. And then as well, the late game scaling that can come through with the relatively short range composition of G2. Maybe he can find those opportunities, but you need to try and keep him safe, and when there's just so many things that are gunning for this Cassiopeia, Niski will have to play his heart out in these fights if he wants to stand a chance.
This is not just Caps, it's not just Yike. It's how do you deal with a problem called Hansama as well on this Samira. Already Infinity Edge complete for him. Building up that Vampiric Scepter as well, getting himself a little bit more lifesteal. 6, 1, and 5 currently. First time we've seen this Samira come out from him, but there have been rumors, there have been rumblings in this scrim at meta. Second Dragon of the game already secured for G2, still 3 minutes before we see our second Cloud Soul of the LEC finals. And for the moment, Mad Lions willing just to step back. Broken Blade lands the Counter-Strike stun, and even though Chasey is, 1.8k ahead, he's only got a Core Fields over Broken Blade right now. It's not actually a huge item differential. It will help him, obviously, in the fights, and he should win out a 1v1, but so far a lot of these battles haven't been mano a mano. As we see G2 pushing into this jungle. The charge coming out onto Elioya, Caps looking for the flank position, and once again it's Niski that they dive on towards. Niski trying to survive, locked up to the Cataclysm. In goes Hansama, who is stunned immediately, but they just can't get the damage onto him. The Inferno Trigger finds its marks once again. It's a 1 for 3 so far. Elioya and Chasey trying to run for the wind, trying to find some solace in their base, but G2 once again collapse. And in what was a very mess of a fight, G2 come out on top.
G2 used the Herald that they dropped in their base as a means to start a fight in bot lane. And the crazy thing is they even keep it alive. A massive collapse as Mad fall short once again in the fight. And it feels like that this game is done and dusted.
And a game 2 as well at that. Mad Lion's going to be one potentially step away from being knocked out here in the finals, as G2 just do not want to let up. Fantastic engages, prioritizing the Cassiopeia, making sure that there is no way for Niski to try and survive these fights. And Niski, you even see with Giant Spell, going to try and go for something like a Demonic Embrace, just to have that little bit of a health stack there to keep himself topped up. But I don't know if it's going to be enough.
No TP on Chase, so you can see G2 barreling towards this Baron. They try and set up some vision control around it. Hylissang doing his darndest to deny it. Can jump across that wall, but G2, 4 players strong, just step in. Unrelenting force right now. No vision, really. That's one ward for Mad Lions by where the Baron pit is, so they kind of know that G2 aren't starting it right now, but G2 can wait for that to expire. Put the control ward down, and Yoya dashes across the wall. Yike continues to step in. Camp's coming in from the side as well, and Chasey has joined up with his team once again in the mid lane. Chain of Corruption onto Mickey, but he can still EQ buffer away. The prison's short, and the Jarvan escapes to fight another day.
That's so many of your ultimates used there by Mad Lions to try and just keep G2 at bay. And now, yes, they're going to try and move in, but Chasey's now in trouble.
EQ flash onto Chasey, no flash on the Fiora. Cataclysm, a possibility as well. They're trying to hold it, they don't even need it. Unsummer unstoppable, 8-1 on Samira.
That's why Fioras don't want to be in team fights. They don't have an opportunity to do anything, and G2 will turn immediately over towards the Baron, and Mad Lions are just left to try and get some vision around Dragon, if and even that.
There's little to nothing that Mad can really cross-map. Look, you can see question mark pings on the bot lane tower, but by the time they get there, the Baron will already be secured. G2 will be able to reset and make their way back out onto the map. Mad Lions are struggling once again. In game 1, it was all about the top side of the map. In game 2, it's been all about the bot side. And the consistent factor has been this mid-jungle duo of Caps and Yike. They have been ever present everywhere on the map, whether it be by playing around Caps and the action in the mid lane, or whether it be bringing him to side lanes and he and Yike setting up these plays on the sides. This mid-jungle of G2, as it often always has been so integral to their early game strength and giving them the massive gold lead that they now find themselves with.
And I mean, talking about the mid-jungle, it's incredible to see how Yike has just exploded onto the scene. Qualifies for the LFL, immediately joins LDLC, wins Spring, wins Summer in his first year, gets the EU Masters Finals now, doesn't net himself a Finals, but now, immediately after his first year in the LFL, joins G2, now finds himself almost at the steps to take that win in the LEC in his very rookie split. This guy has been incredible when it comes to his meteoric rise when it comes to competitive league.
Pretty sure he'll be willing to take an EU final over an EMEA Masters final, as they are looking to go 2-0 up in this one. Chasey takes a tower up towards the top lane. Caps looking for the chase here. Chasey could turn this around, doesn't really know where the rest of G2 are. Grand challenge has been issued. Chasey, couldn't quite get the vital, and now Hansama closing in and closing the door on Chasey once again.
Hansama very quick with the collapses this game. 9-1-7. He has been involved in 16 of G2's 19 kills. He has a higher KP than both the mid and jungle. Like, the man has been a monster this game, and showcasing that he's not just a Draven one-trick. This man is unbelievably talented as G2 look to pressure the top tier 2.
Glacial Prison was used there. Hylissang trying to defend the tower, needs to dash over to Elioya, but Like's going to try and stop him. Glacial Fisher being used as well, but not enough to distract G2 from their target. Chain of Corruption was issued. That didn't really find too much there for Mad. Now 2 waves pushing in. Yike's going to shepherd in these 3 caster minions up towards the top lane. Mid lane inhibitor forfeit as G2 continue the pressure. Continue to raise Mad Lion's base to the ground. Another wave coming in top as Mickey pokes and prods at Elioya. G2 will work their way up towards this top lane. Double inhibitors at 25 minutes sounds pretty good to them. 25
minutes in game 1, they were hitting the Nexus of Mad. Game 2, as we approach 25 minutes, G2 is looking to do the same thing. Mad's last final fight to protect this game.
You're going in, Chasey looking for the damage here onto Mickey. Concussive blows, wasn't procced. No permafrost there either. Hansama just standing in their faces. The AD carry on the front lines, not something we often see, but a joy to behold when we do. And Mad Lions didn't have the tools to close in. No Glacial Fisher, no Glacial Prison. Petrifying Gaze possible, but there's cleanse on Han Summer, so you really can't close that gap quickly enough.
Botline tower is the only thing left standing, and I imagine you're very quickly going to see Broken Blade take to the mid lane, continue to escort waves in, and just have the rest of G2 constantly put pressure onto that bot side. And if you ever try and have members of Mad Lions leave to deal with the 2 super creeps that are moving in on either waves, you just immediately dive as G2. You have so much threat underneath these towers from the dive perspective.
It's a really difficult puzzle for Mad to solve, because it feels like that we never actually get to see their comp do what their comp is supposed to do. Like the early game, they're just losing in the skirmishes, they're finding themselves in massive deficits, and they're gonna have to match G2 in the early game if they're gonna want to stand a chance of beating this team.
And part of that is you get rid of all the meta stuff, and then G2 say, oh, we're just first time 2 champs on stage in the finals. Sure, we'll just play Kled Samira, you know, we're good enough to do it, and it's so difficult to, as you say, unlock that box, find a solution to the puzzle.
And the problem was that they just insta-locked Kled and Gragas. It wasn't like we didn't see this coming. They knew that this was what they wanted to play, but I gotta say, if you're looking for G2 winning this, they get towards MSI. It's an exciting prospect to see them bring this to the table.
Definitely is. Broken Blade flashing away from Hillsang, who flash forward. Caps and Han Summer shepherding in the mid lane wave. Han Summer looking for the damage on Elioya. Oh, the Blade well to dodge the Glacial Prison stops the engage in his tracks. Mickey low as well, but only down to half HP. Not as low as Mad Lions hopes. You feel the Radiant Virtue healing them up a little bit, but might not be enough to defend their base. The Nexus Tower's under siege just from the minions. G2 stepping forward once again. Han Summer tanking Nexus Tower shots. Inferno Trigger used to heal up the minions a little bit there. Niski's still trying to trade in, but 3 inhibitors down now. Mad Lions, the last dregs of hope. Trying to find something at the bottom of the barrel, but G2 don't even push for the win. They can turn back, they can go for the soul. They could even look for a catch here.
Mad, they know that Han Summer's there, but G2's ready.
In the Kled charge as well. Han Summer locked up for a second, doesn't have the S rank, but he still has the GA. He'll be resurrected, but all the Mad Lions might be dead by the time he comes back alive. Kazi underneath the tower trying to survive, but he's locked up. Chasey trying to do what he can, but there's not much you can. And they're climbing back superbly to survive the fight. It's a 1 for 3 so far. Can Chasey and Elioya defend? The minions pushing in, not much mana on G2, not much health either, but they have enough, it seems, to lock Chasey underneath the tower, take the Nexus turrets, and go 1 win away from their 10th title in Europe.
Another dominant victory from G2. And this team just seems to be on form. Mad have made an incredible run throughout the gauntlet. They took down SK.
And Blue side has a huge win rate at the moment. 11 wins, 4 losses. Obviously, Mad inflicted a couple of those, as have G2 so far through the course of playoffs. There's the Draven ban, Maokai removed by G2. Now Mad decided to ban Ashe on Blue side, and they will get rid of the Kled.
So they basically said, G2, you've played Kled top, you've played Kled mid, you're blind Kled. For some reason, you've decided the Kled is OP, and we've decided we don't want to deal with it anymore, so we're going to ban it. No more Olaf ban. Kled will be, wouldn't it be really funny if G2 now, like, we're locking in Olaf, they just flex it.
Look, I think the big thing is I want to see them go away from this Pharros first pick. Pharros has not been it at all in playoffs, and I think going towards something like the Sejuani in last game, or even picking up something that's a little bit stronger for yourself there, could have been the better option, although they did end up getting the Sejuani in the end. But now Ashe is going to be banned away instead by G2, and it is the Pharros ban for Mad Lions, so more than likely see the Sejuani immediately locked in here for Elioya.
That likely means that the Gragas response will come out from G2. We know that the Gragas can be flexed, assuming that this is, of course, locked in for Mad. We saw them hover the Sejuani last game, and they may very well pivot.
They pivoted to the Varus last time, and it's banned out this time.
So we'll have to wait and see. But there's the pivot. They've decided on the Gragas. See, that's why you got to be careful about the hovers, lad. But Gragas is a champion that has proven to be very valuable throughout playoffs, largely due to the introduction of Mad, prioritizing it a lot and flexing it between Elioya and Niski. I expect this to be mid. I expect them to give something like the Vi over to Mad, and that's why I think this hover from G2 Esports and a lock-in could be very good to deny that away from Elioya.
especially if you want to still go for the Sejuani here for Alioya. I think that's still pretty nice, where as Vi goes in, you get to ult the back line and prevent that follow-up. Plus, you've also got the Barrow to prevent a lot of that as well. So I think you've already got a nice setup there for Mad Lions with those first few picks. And then I imagine they just go towards an AD carry on that third rotation as well, unless they just want to secure entirely their top side of the map, which we did see them actually do yesterday as well. So it may just be a case of, hey, triple melee top, let's try and make things happen.
They just blinded Heimerdinger.
Yeah, because Ashe is banned, and Ashe is obviously one of the counters to the Heimer. How else do you get on top of this?
Is it my fault for being suspicious that this might not be support?
You think it's Heimer mid?
Yeah,
You said it yesterday.
I don't know, man.
It's possible. It's possible. We'll see.
You expect it to be in that support position, but as you rightly said, we'll have to wait and see. Now, we are seeing Mad default to Comfort. This Gragas-Jace duo is something we've seen pretty consistently, especially from them yesterday in their series versus Koi, and it's something that they're falling back on. And they're now challenging G2 with the, listen, you don't have Kled anymore, surely you don't have any other picks that can go into Jace. But knowing Broken Blade, knowing Caps, they'll find a way to make Mad's life rather difficult.
I think the hard part here is, okay, jungler locked in, they're actually going to go for the Wukong. The biggest problem now is that there aren't a lot of AD carries that can safely farm against something like a Heimerdinger, right? We saw Karzi default back towards things like the Aphelios yesterday, but I don't want to play Aphelios into something like a Heimer because he's going to just outrange me, poke me down, make my life an ever-living hell. So I think the big question now is, if these bans are going to start moving down towards the bottom lane here for G2, what do they actually bring out for cards in that bot lane? Because I'd ban an Ezreal, I'd ban things that can have that range or that at least escape option for Karzi.
That's smart, I agree. I think that Ezreal Karma is your instinct, right? Like, you look at that bot side of the map and you're thinking something very safe, something that can try to avoid dives and can basically just scale up later on to the game, as Mad Lions is very likely going to be focused more on the top side of the map. I was thinking to myself maybe a Sivir, and then G2 decided to lock that one instantly, so they're going to have an incredible amount of push towards the bot side of the map. My only other question is, what about a Caitlyn? We haven't been seeing Caitlyn a lot so far in playoffs. Does offer you a lot of range. The Rel ban going to come out from G2. They've been seeing it from Hylissang recently, and this is, of course, a very powerful engaged champion that synergizes well with the engage of the Wukong.
Because that's your option if you're playing into a Heimerdinger Sivir lane. You can go in, you can look to try and fight them and take them out in a pure, straight-up battle, or you can try and play range. The Karma, as you say, a possibility. Ezreal as well, alongside that for Mad Lions. Cassio banned by Mad. They don't want that playing into the Gragas in the mid lane, and G2 might look to remove the Karma from the pool here, or take away the Ezreal from Karzi.
I wonder if we see something like the Misfortune that we got from Hans Sama actually go towards Karzi. At least then you can try and outrange a lot of this pressure on the bottom side. Quite like a lot of opportunities to set up with the Wukong, with the Gragas as well. I think that's probably going to be your best bet here. Lucian now taken off the board. Ezreal, though, still up and available, which I did think we banned away. So it may just be an Ezreal angle for Karzi.
Yeah, Mad Lions really... I'm trying to work out where they would go in terms of support here. You can just go for the pushing lane, but do you really want Hylissang on something like Karma when you are playing for your lives in this final? Alistair also a possibility into the Sivir, but into the Heimerdinger it really struggles in the early game. You just get constantly harassed. We'll see where Mad Lions decide to go. They get rid of Cassio and Akali, trying to cause Caps to play something different once again. But Caps is very willing to do that, it seems, across the course of this winter split. G2 now likely looking towards the top side of the map. Give Caps counter finally, or maybe give support counter. They can't play it, or they can play it, it's just old Aurelion Soul, guys. It's old Aurelion Soul if it's locked, but there's the Olaf.
He's shaking his head, but I guess that was for the Aurelion Soul.
It's locked.
So we will be seeing the Olaf has been banned in games 1 and 2, but we're expecting that to go into the top lane as an answer to the Jace.
The interesting thing, though, is they still left open where the Heimerdinger is going, so maybe you do get your mid-Heimer, but Zeri Lulu going to be the answer here for Mad Lions, and we'll finally get to figure out exactly what G2 want to do. I'm not the biggest fan of... If it is going to be a Lulu, I think you just get shoved in so incredibly well. The Lulu won't really have too much of effect as it comes to trying to shove that wave back. And
from Hilly's face, I think it might be a Lulu, guys.
Yeah.
Didn't look too enthralled by that one. Could even be the Yuumi on 13.1B. And she was nerfed a little bit on this patch, if I recall correctly. Obviously, heavily nerfed on 13.1, 13.3, but that's not the patch we are playing on. And now G2 looking for either their mid lane or their support. I'm gonna give, it could, oh, it's, no way is it Talia. Oh, it's Heimer mid, Betty. It's Talia support. It's Talia support. He did this before. Remember, it went really badly for
I do remember.
It could just be Talia mid.
It could just be Talia mid.
Could just be Talia.
I mean,
probably Talia mid.
It's probably Talia mid, but I was excited there for a second.
I know, that's why I wanted to bring you back down.
Thank you.
I just enjoy ruining your day. Yeah.
So, let's start off by talking about Yuumi. She was pretty heavily nerfed on 13.1p. All of her base stats got reduced. They did make a small change to how her passive works. They also kind of affected her heal, and then they basically changed a bunch of stuff.
Oh, was this the really big hit?
Yes, this is
okay,
the big
so this is the one that took it to 41%.
Yeah. This was the massive patch change. And that's mainly why she fell out of pro play, right?
Yep.
It's a large part of why teams moved away from her, but Mad is saying that they still believe in the scaling element that Yuumi can provide. The 2v2 is rough. They're going to get pushed in, they're going to struggle, and they're going to fall behind. And it's something that Mad are going to have to find a way to mitigate because they're going to be focusing more towards the top side of the map. Kazi and Hylissang will be left on an island, and G2 is definitely going to look to capitalize on that.
I think it's going to be a case of, can you get this Yuumi to interact with Elyoya and Niski in the early stages? You know, belly slam into the ultimate from the Yuumi could end up setting up some great engages, but it is going to be very, very tough with how much pressure this bot lane is going to be under.
Trying to win in the early game versus G2 is a struggle, to say the least. Both these two games, they have kept Mad Lions on a rope, and Mad Lions have struggled to find anything. Can Mad Lions bite back in Game 3, or will G2 be crowned champions? Lights out, and away we go onto Summoner's Rift for what could be the final time of the day. Yuumi locked in for Hylissang, gutted on this patch, as we noted in the draft. We'll see what that cat can do.
And as a reminder, if G2 win this game, they will lock a spot in the season finals. That happens after Summer Split. They will also lock a spot at MSI.
Yep.
Because now, there's an article that talks all about the changes to international events, where basically Europe will be sending 2 seeds, and this will guarantee you at least 2nd seed. If they win spring, then obviously they can move into 1st seed, but that's still a ways away. So important stakes for the winner, on top obviously any winter, right? Shocker. But yeah, there's a lot on the line here for both these teams, and the last time Hans Sama found himself in this position in a final, he did get reverse sweeped. It was in fact by the Mad Lions, and it was in fact by Kazi. The roster was somewhat different back then, but Elyoya and Kazi, 2 names that Hans Sama is very familiar with. And I wouldn't be surprised if he came into this game telling his team, hey guys, we need to focus, and we need to make sure that we don't give Mad Lions any room to breathe as we move here into Game 3.
It doesn't feel like you're going to get much move on this, or breathing room on this bot side for Mad. Already you've got the turret set up by Mickey, going to get that push in. Yike going up towards his top side, so going to take his Krugs, red, and then move back down to the bottom end of the map, which I think should be fine. It's more of a case of if Elyoya wants to try and go for something sneaky, where he tries to go for an early gank on bot side, but realistically, as Wukong, you need level 3 to go for it, so it'll be a 3-camp start, potentially then into a bot lane play.
And we'll see how well Chasey is able to pilot this Jace. And against the Olaf, it's been banned out of the first 2 games. Broken Blades gets his hands on it once again, was one of the reasons that they managed to take down Koi last Monday. And obviously Mad trying to respect it, but in the end you can only ban so many champs, and Kled rose up that priority list as the series has gone on.
I see a bit of vision invested from G2 into the top side of Mad's jungle. Trying to get a bit of information as to what Elyoya is up to. He will be pathing, well, doing a full clear from bot side up towards top. We talked about how Mad is very much expected to play to the top side of the map. Oh, can we see G2's vision? They will spot him out. All right. So thank you very much, observers. Quick reflexes there. But now they have information. Broken Blade can respond. Elyoya sees the reaction, and therefore he knows that he has been spotted on some wards. This now gives Yike information, and he could be looking to set up a play on the bot side of the map.
The thing is, even if he doesn't manage to make a play on the bot side, Karzi already taken a bit of damage. You're still getting the push down in this bottom lane. Caps is going to be able to roam. And I think that's been the big standout thing for me for G2 is how good Caps has been at roaming. And it looks like a dive on bot as Elyoya goes top.
Broken Blade pops the ghost early on here. Knockback flashes forward. Chasey flashes away from the axe. The undertow was used. Broken Blade trying to get his way out of this one, but the red buff slow should be enough. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, Hylissang getting dark. Kazi trying to get the kill onto Mickey. Kazi surviving! Hans Sama flashes forward. Niski gets 1. It's 2 kills across the map for Mad Lions in answer for 1. Hylissang, I think, can't jump back on. Now can. Back onto Niski. And in the end, a 2-for-1 trade in favor of the Mad Lions. Hansama trying to survive this one. Niski actually might have enough mana to go back in. Didn't know where Mickey was, and that turret down means they'll back away. The pause comes out. We got to have one. It's the LEC, guys.
You'll take that as Mad Lions, though. You get the kill onto top side with a good flash away from Chasey, and you get the trade back on the bot side. It was unfortunate Karzi couldn't quite get the kill on towards onto Caps on the way out as well, but still happy as you go.
Yeah.
That was one of the best things that you could do as Mad, especially when you come into a game 3 when you're down 2 games. We talked about how they needed to control G2 in the early game to some degree, and the play was, I would say, predictable is like not a nice word, but it was very clear what G2 was going to do, right? They did a full clear from top side into bot. Obviously, we had full insight into that, but Niski also pushed in through mid. Sorry, not Niski, Caps pushed in through mid and then made an immediately roam down towards the bot lane. And so they wanted to try and shut down Karzi and Hylissang right from the get-go, and this is something that G2 often relied on during the regular season to take advantage of. So the fact that Niski was able to respond with the teleport, able to mitigate a lot of what they could and end up trading 1-for-1, I would argue one of the best case scenarios.
And it's really cool to see that step up from Caps and how well he has been at controlling that space in the mid lane and always trying to lean to cover potential plays, also lean to set up potential plays. Because remember back at MSI 2021, this was one of the big talking points around people like Faker and Xiaohu and how they transitioned into this more facilitator, supportive style as they went on in their years and became one of the best mid laners or the best mid laner of their respective regions. And this is where we're starting to see Caps kind of fall into that style as well now, where he's not only playing mechanically fantastically as we saw in game 1 on the Cassiopeia, but now also being more of an omnipresence on the map as well, helping to secure his team and leading from the forefront when it comes to these early games.
Yeah, I will say, although Pedro is unwell at home, I think we have the start the game button here on the studio, so I'm going to press that one now and we go back in to the game. There was a visual bug reported by Mad Lions. It was confirmed by the referees, and we're going to play on through it. So you can see what is the end state of that sequence of events? Well, Mad Lions got 2 kills. One went to Elioya, one went to Niski. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, we did see this dive happening. We'll watch it again on the replay here.
So the big thing is the level advantage the G2 bot lane have. The immediate teleport comes through, the ignite drops onto Karzi to mitigate whatever healing that he has. They're able to sidestep and dodge that initial play set up by Yike. You can see Karzi doing his best to get that kill onto Mickey, but Yike, thanks to the ignite that comes down and the tower shots that he's tanking, ends up taking a lot of damage. Hansama, with the ghost, tries to chip away at Hilly's health as much as he can, but able to jump on top of Niski to keep stay alive.
Yeah, a bit of credit to Yike there, flashing with the Q. Actually knocked up Hylissang before he could get back onto Karzi, which meant that Hylissang couldn't remount for the entirety of the play. You can see Hansama trying to trade, thinking, can Hylissang remount, can Hylissang remount, and just did it right at the last moment to jump onto Niski. So Yike there was able to isolate the captain. As much as the fans hate him, it seems like the players seem to hate that Yuumi as well.
You can see, even though after that play, and Karzi was the one that died, still has a small gold lead, at the very least going even after Hansama picks up this wave. Mad, though, looking for another play top.
Brokenblade has no summoners here, nowhere for him to go, and Chasey should be able to secure this one. Runs away, Elioya takes it instead. With Yike in the area, Chasey didn't want to give anything up, and just backs away from the play.
Finally, we're getting to see Mad Lions come alive in the early stages. That's another kill now for Chasey, and it's feeling quite reminiscent of yesterday with, okay, Karzi, Hilly getting help from Niski, but Elioya helping to facilitate Chasey on this Jace in the top side. Yesterday, he set the record for the most damage of any player this split on Jace in Game 2 against Koi. We'll have to see if he can do it again now coming into this.
And when Mad Lions were successful, it was playing through Chasey. Look at the jump in jungle proximity from regular season and groups into playoffs. It's almost 8%. That is a huge amount of time that Elioya spent around Chasey trying to get this Jace ahead, and it worked so well for them across the course of this weekend.
Give the man resources and he will use them effectively. It's a great start for the Mad Lions. A 1k gold lead is definitely where you want to be. G2 though, you can't afford to underestimate them at any point in the game. Niski did look for a roam, will be spotted up by some vision. Yike, thank you observers for highlighting the vision. Mad will not see Yike as he makes his way into the jungle. No pings have come down, and he's making. You can see
did they just see him?
Should have spotted that.
Maybe just saw the edge of him. Karzi has no way to dodge away. Hylissang needs to jump back on, but he can't get there in time. Yike takes the kill. Karzi caught out a little bit in that bottom lane.
And just a nice job there. Now, Elioya going to move in to try and free up this minion wave, but again, falling further and further behind Karzi is on this CS numbers. Really nice job from G2 to sneak Yike in and get that kill.
Just a very straightforward gank. Yike comes in, leverages the fog of war, and without hesitation, able to pick up Kazi, who has no summoners. So really good play from G2. And again, this is what I'm talking about. Can't afford to underestimate this team. The second that you have a gold lead over G2, they find these creative plays, and they're immediately back on the board. So Kazi at a small deficit for now. The biggest hit to his experience bar. Very close to level 5. But Mad Lions definitely in a better position compared to what we've seen from them so far this series.
I think it's going to become more and more difficult for Mad to keep control over this bot side. Obviously, Hansam and Mickey are doing a good job of keeping the push in and keeping that CS number high, but Cap's having control now as well.
Fancy feet there from Nisqy, using the phase rush to make sure that Caps couldn't land the seismic shove. Broken Blade was waiting. Nisqy just chipping away at Caps' health bar, reminding him that this Gragas can put down quite a lot of damage in the right circumstances. Pushes out the wave as well. Caps with low mana really can't trade too much more.
The obnoxious thing about a Gragas is not only is the durability that he gets from his W, but they're just the consistent wave clear that he has, relatively low cooldowns, and every time you try to trade into him, he just has so much damage and chip damage that Cap's struggling a little bit in terms of the isolated 1v1 for now. Obviously, he doesn't find himself at a massive deficit, only behind largely because of that kill that Nisqy was able to pick up. But yeah, will be forced back to base, has the TP up any second now, so he can just return to the mid lane and catch that wave.
Mad doing a nice job of starting up the Rift Herald before Yike hits level 6. Should hit it off the camp that he's on at the moment, but you've already got people in position here from Mad to try and press this one down. Still level 5, big advantage for Mad here.
But Nisqy has no mana and no ultimate as well. If G2 wanted to fight it, Caps could step forward, as obviously just teleport back into the lane, but as you say, 4 members strong Mad Lions will be able to take the Rift Herald. Plates going down to Hansama, down towards the bottom lane. Mad Lions secure the Herald. And you can see G2 trying to answer on the other side of the map. Can Kazi survive a dive? Well, he doesn't think he can, so he just backs all the way away.
Like hit level 6 on the transition down, so definitely needed to be wary of that one. Dragon should be taken here in answer though for G2, and could potentially see an immediate play on the top side here from Matt.
Exactly, they're aware that the Dragon is going down. Caps is going to try and respond. He makes a roam of his own. Nisqy going back to base, so he's unlikely able to match.
So Caps is waiting for Elyoya to show, because then he can go in and use that Weaver's Wall to trap them. However, Kazi stepped forward once again down towards this bottom lane. Hylissang still only level 4, doesn't have that ultimate. Lightning Crash coming out, the TP being used as well. Like, Yike locks them up underneath the tower. Kazi surviving for so long, but Hylissang just can't get the damage down. Yike now on the wrong side of the map. Flashes away from the explosive cast, looking for the Q as well. Can he get over the wall? He can't get close enough. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Broken Blade trying to survive the dive. He takes a 1-for-1 in the top. Chasey on the board, 1-0-2 now. Caps on his way up the Weaver's Wall, a possibility. Chasey does still have the flash and will back away. There's the Weaver's Wall. Chasey looking for the knockback. What can you do here, Chasey? Dives in, seismic shove just wide. Chasey can turn this one. Caps has to ghost. Caps clapped in the top lane, and Chasey has arrived in the LEC finals.
Chasey does what he needs to and finds the outplay onto Caps. It was an awkward situation for Mad, losing a member down in the bot lane. Only going 1-for-1 in the top lane dive. Securing that kill now gives them a much needed advantage. Extending that gold lead ever so slightly and relieving some of the pressure that is constantly being thrown down onto Kazi's head.
Lovely, lovely stuff from Chasey. Now with the Eclipse complete as well, should be able to get a little bit more pressure up towards his top side. And I think a bit of a mistake from Caps, which we'll get to in just a second, but Elyoya goes underneath the tower. Great job here from Broken Blade to actually manage to turn one of these back around. Having that Ragnarok means he doesn't get locked up while Elyoya gets the flash for just enough to finish off the Wukong as they go through. And then we get this dive onto the bottom side as well, which Kazi again feeling the brunt of that one.
Very little he can do. Good ultimate from Yike. The chain CC is strong, and the timing from Nisqy's TP, right place, right time, able to at least trade, as we see now an engage from Kazi.
Onto Hansama. Kazi looking for the damage here. Does have the lightning crash as well, but can't quite put it down. The grenade's going to connect though, and Hylissang unable to do anything about it. Kazi falls for the 4th time this game.
Mickey with a beautiful stun onto Kazi. Doesn't flash out of the way, which means that he loses his life. And this bot side is growing ever greater in favor of Hansama once more.
Keep your eyes on top though. Elyoya here with the Rift Herald in tow. They want to try and trade 2 towers for the bot lane turret at the moment. And with only Broken Blade here, Caps trying to help out.
It's a tale of 2 carries right now in this game. Chasey knocked back with the seismic shove. They're going to try and turn onto him, and he's taken out, shut down. Over to Broken Blade. Chasey just a little bit too far forward there. And G2 were able to pounce. Nisqy looking for something. No Ragnarok available for the Olaf, but Caps on his way once again. No seismic shove. So no Weaver's wall for him right now. The anti connects onto Niski. Cease and desist being used as well. There's the shove back into the unraveled earth. Niski trying to survive. Elyoya turning it back around with the cyclone. One knock up. They try and take out Broken Blade. They'll find him. Caps has flash. Yike goes in. Niski low. Elyoya too. Caps has the stopwatch. And Mickey comes in to secure the kill.
Mickey continues to have impact on the map with his Heimerdinger. He lands the grenade in bot lane. He makes the roam up to top, and Mad are quickly losing control. They had such a good early game lead, but now they're getting overconfident. They're going for plays that they don't have the right to make, and G2 is quick to punish.
Mickey still on the way down here, trying to see if he can get onto Karzi. Hansama does have the ultimate if he wants to follow. Mickey, can he get the stun?
Has the flash, doesn't have the upgraded grenade right now. 2 seconds on that ultimate. Karzi will just tank a little bit of damage, and Mickey currently sitting 3-0-2. Sork Boots already complete on his way towards a Rylai's. G2 should be able to secure this tower. Mickey going behind them. Elyoya's on the way though. Final chapter being used. Karzi low, lightning crash, not enough. Hittersang now needs to survive. The tower's still standing though, and Elyoya is here to counteract this dive. Hansama spell shields. Mickey tanks a shot. The grenade again from Mickey. This man just refuses to lose as Mickey lands grenade after grenade and keeps Mad Lions at bay.
Mickey showing that he is the carry in the bot lane now. 3-0-3. He's incredibly strong and showcases the difference between him and the Yuumi in the bot lane. He has the most damage dealt this game. An incredible performance in game 3 for Mickey. And now look at the gold difference, barely 300. As G2 have clawed back the deficit they found themselves in.
And you've got Dragon now in 20 seconds, so look at the rest of the map. G2 are already starting to move their way down towards that objective. Vision galore for them set up on this bottom side of the map. It should be an easy take for them, especially with the Kraken Slayer advantage there for Hansama. You have Caps, who should be able to reset now as well if he wants to, and try and make his way over towards this with his Mythic completed as well.
And it's the battle of the 2 carries in this game you have to feel. Chasey is 2,500 gold ahead with 2 items complete on this Jace. If he is there to poke before the team fight begins, he can absolutely shred through this G2 lineup. But Hansama and Mickey doing such a good job of getting leads in that bottom lane as well.
And I think Elyoya is kind of going, right, screw the Dragon. We're just going to try and go for top tier 2, get more gold onto Chase and see if he can carry. But then Yike is here to match, and G2 are like, cool, we can just solo this out as long as we know jungler's on top side.
Broken Blade has the flash, Ghost up, Ragnarok is well available for him. The Dragon resets, but Hansama will walk back in, and Mickey takes it. He's doing it all this game. Takes the Dragon as well. Mad Lions don't look for the dive. Mickey coming across towards the side here. Grenade short, flash away, upgraded turret. Seismic shove coming out as well as the Ragnarok up towards the top side. Chasey's being locked up. The shutdown goes over to Elyoya. It's a 1-for-1 trade so far. Niski looking for something. Might not want to go any further because Hansama's in the area. And in the end, it is just a 1-for-1 trade. But with Rift held up, Mad Lions will turn their eyes towards it.
So kills coming out from either team as Broken Blade and Yike are able to shut down Chasey. A bit of relief from the topside pressure that Mad keeps inflicting. Meanwhile, Mad are able to find that pick onto Mickey, the man that's been a menace on the Rift so far. While Caps has tried to assist, it wasn't quite enough. You can see here Chasey trying to collapse, come help his team out, tries to sidestep the Q, the wall in his way, perhaps?
Just
maybe a little bit, but cease and desist is going to lock him up anyway there. I don't think he had a route away.
Yeah, felt like that regardless. He was definitely chain CC'd, and there was little he could do to get out of that one.
At this stage, it feels like a huge amount of this game for Mad Lions relies on Elyoya. 4-2 in the jungle. If he has the cat on his back, maybe he can make things work, but has to be looking for picks and Elyoya with Chasey trying to play around his strong part of the map.
I mean, I think that they've got a very similar dive comp to what they had yesterday, right? You've got this whole mid-jungle top trio that's very effective at basically creating chaos in a fight, isolating a target and then one-shotting them before moving on to the next. The question is, which target will that be? It's difficult to lock down the Vi or the Olaf, but they're not going to be your primary targets. Hansama and Caps will be the people that Mad try to catch off guards and shut down before the fight really gets going.
I think it has to be Hansama as well. Has that culinary completed already with the Kraken Slayer. He is fast approaching his break point. When you get the Navori Quick Blades coming in second and then another attack speed item on top of that, and he'll be good to go. Elyoya?
Mickey's a menace.
It's terrifying.
Just always in the right position to land some of that poke, and it's not just the damage, it's the slow as well. Stops Mad Lions getting into the positions that they want. And setting up towards this top side of the map once again. Cap stepping forward, looking for Karzi. Seismic shot shove dodged there. Chasey, though, with Alioya, could catch out Broken Blade. Now, Broken Blade was trying to deal with Niski up towards this top side. Broken Blade pops the ultimate, but you get reduced resistances when you do so. Flashes away, and you can see that's just a couple of seconds of Chasey wailing away on Broken Blade, forces him back to the fountain.
Chasey is obviously very strong, and Mad are taking advantage of that, full advantage of that. The Herald is available for Alioya. I don't know if he needs to use it here, though.
I think you go mid with it, right?
Yeah, I think it makes more sense. There's a lot of wave clear on the side of G2 when you have the Talia and the Sivir, so leverage that to help Siege, because the reality is, Mad, when they have, well, a short-range top side and then a Zeri who's very far behind, their sieging tools are not that effective, so the Herald can definitely lighten that load if they're able to unlock that mid lane tower.
The hard part for this, though, for Mad Lions is that they just auto-lose the mid lane push, right? Hansama going to auto-clear waves against Karzi. Cap's now in a position where he can one